Hi, this is Yolanda Vanveen, and next we're going to talk about one of my favorite plants in the whole world, the camellia. It smells like no other plant in the world. It's so beautiful. It has such interesting history. But to learn how to plant it and how to grow it, let's find out where it's native and what its natural conditions are, and that way we know how to treat it. So camellias are native to southern and eastern Asia along the oceans. And so they like humid, moist, tropical conditions. They have a definite rainy season, a definite dry season. So when you're growing it at home, if you live in a really warm climate that's very arid, you have to give it lots of moisture. Either put it in a container with rocks underneath with water so it has some humidity, or mist it. But it does not like to be dry or in really dry climate because it will just dry right out and you'll lose it. Camellias are a gorgeous plant. They have really pretty foliage, and you can see it starting to bud right there, creating new flower buds. So I say transplant them anytime they're not setting buds or they're in bloom. So I'm not going to take it out of the pot right now. It might shock it and it might lose those blooms. If it gets too cold, it might lose those blooms. If it gets hot, fried in the sun, it might lose those blooms. So you've got to remember its native area. It doesn't like full hot sun unless you live right on the ocean and it's really kind of a cloudy, never gets really hot kind of climate. Or you want it never to get too dry. But yet you don't want it to ever sit in water, it'll rot right out. So a lot of times you get them as a present for Mother's Day and they're in a plastic container, just like this chrysanthemum is. And you get it and it's nice in bloom in the plastic and you're like, oh, this is so beautiful. And then you just keep adding water and it's really heavy and then all of a sudden it dies and turns yellow and you're like, what did I do? But you added too much water, it was sitting in water, it's suffocated. So you never want to leave camellias or any other plants in that plastic for a long period of time. You want to take it out, put it on a plate or somewhere where that water is going to drain, or just make sure water it well, just tip it to the side and have the water come right out again. And then that way it'll never actually sit in water and you won't make a mess either. Camellias do not want full hot sun. They make better house plants if you live in a really hot climate or if you even live in a real dry climate too. They want moisture. You've got to give them some moisture. And they don't really want to go below 60 degrees. So if they get cold at all, they'll lose their leaves and you'll lose them. So a lot of times my philosophy too is if they're brown, chop them down. A lot of times they'll grow new growth. So as long as that stem still bends and it's workable, it probably will send out new shoots. If it's just a stick and it's dry and it breaks right off and snaps, then you probably have lost it. But even so, I've cut them to the ground before and they've started new shoots. So even if you think you lost it, give it another chance. Just chop the brown stuff off and let it grow new greenery. And protect it in the winter. Do not let it go below 60 degrees if you live in a cold climate. And you can keep your camellia for years and years and enjoy the beautiful aroma of the flowers.